I haven't made a video on how to make something, if you have an emergency and you need something, and you take the general things around in your life, around your home, to do something, emergency solutions, I would call them. Say, for example, if you were, now what I have here is, you know what it is. It's the center cone of a paper towel. Okay, so you're an artist and you're out in the field and you don't have, say you're just beginning, you know, and haven't yet bought a whole lot of supplies and so forth, but you're out there and you're painting and you got these big brushes and you don't know, you know, they're full of paint and you want to get them clean, so you do have some water with you, but you don't want to be washing paint off your brushes and throwing it on the ground. You want to be environmentally clean, green. So you want to take them home to wash them where you have something properly to do them in, and you got nothing to put them in, and you're afraid that, you know, if they're wet with paint, they're going to get sort of like squished or whatever, and you want them protected until you get home. You don't want paint all over your car and whatever, so from your brushes, and you don't have anything to contain them in. So what you could do is bring something like this along, and then what you do is you take your brushes and you have, of course, perhaps some tape, any kind of tape or good tape, and you tape your brushes together around the handle. Then you very gently take them and you slide them in here, and you make sure that your brush here, your covered brushes with paint, is inside, and they don't get paint all over here. And then you turn around and you make sure it's going to stay there. So what you do is you tape your paint brushes, and if you got a whole bunch that fills that up, it's all the better. But here they are, they're protected in here, and they're not going to move out. But you're not sure, because there's a little play here in movement of the brushes. So you want them safe, you want them to stay in there. So what you do is, if you have some at home, most moms have, or it's what they call sandwich bags, and you get some tape here, and you put them on the sandwich bag, and then you take the sandwich bag, and you open it, of course, and you shove this end in, right in, okay? Now, you got it right in up to there, and there's your paint brushes in there. So then what you do is you seal it here, like you would if there was a sandwich in it, right up nice and tight. And then you roll it around the cylinder here, and you tape it on. You tape it on. It doesn't matter how rough it is or anything, because this is just a emergency. It's not something to make it look fancy or anything like that. And there you got it. It's going to protect your brushes from coming out and getting over everything. And if you want, you can always put another tape around here. I'm not going to do that today. I don't want to make too long a tutorial. This gives you an idea. And then you got this end, of course. You don't want it moving back and forth or falling out. So what you do is you can take another sandwich bag and put it over this end. Nice there, nicely. And you say it's a waste of sandwich bags. Well, not really, because maybe you have sandwich with you and you got the bags and they're empty. Don't throw them away. They could come in for an emergency like this, or any kind of emergency actually. And even though there's maybe some grease or something on them, but that doesn't matter. It wouldn't bother the brushes once you get them washed. And you put that around like that, nice and tight. And you have sealed it now, and you got your brushes here, the handles. So you take your tape and you seal it on there like this. Don't just go, you know, you don't have to be fancy. Make sure it doesn't come off, okay? And then here you go. You got your brushes that are protected, because they can, the brushes here are protected, and then this is not going to squish your brushes if they're wet or full of paint, or even if they're dry. And here, this holds it in pretty tight. And if you want to put another thing around here, you can do that and seal it up in there so it doesn't come out, and they won't come out. And then you can put them down indoors and leave them there until you get home. You get home, you just take everything off and you go into your room where you clean your brushes or whatever, where that's safe and everything is taken home and nothing left behind where you were painting to cause the safety problems, or maybe some animal coming along and eating some paint. And you could do the same thing with shorter things, for example, something like this. You know where that comes from. And you could put your tubes of paint in here and do the same thing. If you don't have, any other way to carry them in your car, and you don't want the paint all over the place. For example, it would go in very nicely. A bigger tube would need something like this, but a smaller tube, medium-sized tube of paint would go in there very nicely. I'm going to show you what I mean. Here I got watercolor tubes, and if you don't have, there you go. And you put maybe something like this around them. Wrap them up in something like this. You know what that is. You can get that at the store. You have it. Everybody has that in their kitchen, mostly. Everybody. I do anyway. And then you wrap it up like this, and you twist the ends, and so on. And there you go. You're put it in there, and it's going to stay there, and your paints are not going to get all over the place. So you can fill them up like that, and then you got safety for. Or if you want, you can put a piece of tape across the front or the ends of the tube, and it'll hold your painting there, and it's all nice and snug. Any kind of tape would do for that too. You could even use a paper, actually, a sheet of paper or a newspaper or anything to do this wrapping, but I prefer this because, it's something you use at home all the time, and it doesn't cost you extra money to go and buy a whole lot of things, and so on. So there you go. You got your containers, you made them, they're easy make, and when you get home, you throw them out properly, dispose of them properly and safely, and you got your emergency equipment. Have fun. Thank you for watching.